Hello and welcome to our preview of the final here in Rome between two players that transcend our sport, Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer. Now these two have played 3 times on a grass court. Federer's won a couple of those matches. They've played 12 times on a hard court, 6 wins apiece. But it's a very different story on the clay. 14 times these two have faced off and Nadal has won 12 of those. Why the big difference?
Well, of course, the patterns of play that work so well for Nadal work particularly well on the surface, Jason. Of course, we know he loves to use his forehand cross-court, gets so much more purchase on the clay than what it does on any other surface. And of course, that bounces up really high to the single-handed backhand of Federer. Roger struggles with that. And of course, you've got the variable bounces to consider as well on a clay court. You can't judge it. Roger drops that backhand short. If he mishits it, Nadal is all over him. And that pattern of play that he executes time and time again is just a pain for Roger.
So I guess it's a bit of a double whammy because Nadal's game plan is really effective on the clay. Federer's the least effective of all the different court surfaces. He likes to keep the rallies nice and short, likes to earn cheap points with his serve. He doesn't return particularly effective, makes a lot of balls, but just chips a lot back into court. And of course Nadal can then dominate with the forehand.
And also one other thing, another important point that you have to remember, on this surface, Nadal is the best mover. Of course, we know that he's able to track down so many balls, defend so well, and Roger struggles to live with that.
Federer didn't play particularly well last week in Madrid. Of course, he had a few weeks off before that. His first performance on the European clay court season wasn't good. This week he's played a lot better. What will he need to do tomorrow to stand a fighting chance of getting the right result against Nadal?
Well, I think there's a couple. In fact, me and you were having a look at some of the videos back in 2006 when they played an epic final here, 5 sets, and we noticed how much he was coming in against Nadal in that final. He was coming in a lot, using the backhand slice up the line, coming in behind that. Of course, I think initially the game plan, we know what the game plan is against Nadal. You've got to get him moving out wide to the forehand, and when the backhand opens up, you've got to take your backhand up the line. We've seen Djokovic do it really well, Ferrer's done it well, Gulbis did it well earlier this week, but I think Federer's got to try and execute that, but he doesn't have the topspin backhand up the line like those guys do. He's got to use his slice more, come in behind that and say to Rafa, can you pass me?
That's a big problem, isn't it, for Federer with a single-handed backhand. Stanislas Wawrinka had the same problem last week in Madrid in the final. Nico Almagro had the same problem when facing Nadal in the Barcelona final. The advantage that the likes of Djokovic have with the double-hander and that Berdych have and that Gulbis has and that Ferrer has is that it's so much easier to control and yet hit with pace. That's the difficulty for Federer, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is, and doing it over long periods of time. We know the rallies are long. Federer prefers slightly shorter rallies, likes to keep the points nice and short, good one-strike tennis. But again, Nadal doesn't allow him that luxury. So the matchup, as you can see, is just a nightmare as far as Federer is concerned, and that's why he's got a poor record against him.
So perhaps in the final, Federer will need to feel that he's got absolutely nothing to lose, swing from the hip, and if he comes out there and redlines his game, he's going to be in with a shout if he plays aggressive all-court tennis. Otherwise, the smart money surely has to be on Nadal eventually prevailing. Should be a fantastic match, fascinating at the very least, and join us for it at 4 o'clock local time on tennistv.com.